Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to talk about something that is absolutely crucial for figuring out if your AI model is actually any good. It's called the F1 score. And trust me, this single number tells a much deeper story than plain old accuracy ever could.
So let me just start by asking you this. You've just built a new model, and it's 95% accurate. That sounds amazing, right? Time to celebrate. But what if I told you that that shiny 95% could actually be hiding a complete and utter failure?
This right here, this is the classic accuracy trap. Just imagine a medical AI screening 100 people, but only 5 of them are actually sick. A lazy model could just predict healthy for every single person. And guess what? It would be 95% accurate. Looks fantastic on paper, doesn't it? But in reality, it's a total disaster because it missed every single person who was actually sick. This is exactly why we need to look deeper.
Okay, so to get past this accuracy illusion, we need two much better tools. You can think of them as our detective clues, precision and recall. Let's break them down.
First up is precision. And precision is all about quality. When your model points to something and says, yep, that's one, how often is it actually right? If it flags an email as spam, is it really spam? High precision just means you're getting fewer false alarms. And then we have recall. If precision is about quality, recall is all about quantity. It asks, of all the positive cases that were actually out there, all the real spam emails, for example, how many did our model manage to find? High recall means you're casting a really wide net and not missing much. Now here's where things get really interesting. These two are basically in a constant tug of war. If you try to make your model more precise, to be extra careful, you might become too cautious and start to miss some real cases, so your recall goes down. But if you try to boost your recall to find everything, you're probably going to raise more false alarms and your precision will take a hit. It is a classic trade-off. So you always have to ask yourself, what's the cost of being wrong? For something like cancer detection, missing a real case is a nightmare scenario. So we prioritize high recall. We'd much rather have a few false alarms than let a single patient slip through the cracks. But for a spam filter, blocking an urgent email from your boss is way worse than letting one piece of junk mail get through. So there, we prioritize high precision. So what do you do when both kinds of errors are bad? How do you strike that perfect balance? Well, this is where our hero, the F1 score, comes onto the stage. It was designed for this exact situation. The F1 score very cleverly combines both precision and recall into one single number. But, and this is the important part, it doesn't just average them. It uses something much smarter called the harmonic mean. A harmonic mean? I know, it sounds complicated, but why that specific formula? What's the big deal? Well, this is where the real genius of the F1 score really shines. Check this out. Imagine a model that has perfect precision but zero recall. It makes one single correct prediction, and then it just stops, missing everything else. A simple average would give it a score of 0.5 or 50%, which is so misleading. But the harmonic mean, the F1 score, sees right through that. It correctly gives that useless model a big fat 0. And that is the whole magic right there. The F1 score heavily punishes models that are lopsided. If either your precision or your recall is terrible, the whole score just collapses. You can't cheat the system by being amazing at one thing and awful at the other. It forces your model to be both careful and comprehensive. It rewards balance. Okay, so we've got this awesome metric that demands balance. So how does this actually get used to make better decisions out there in the real world? Let's take a look. You see the F1 score being used as the gold standard in all sorts of critical fields. We're talking fraud detection, medical AI, credit scoring. In these situations, you really can't afford to only be precise, and you also can't afford to just catch everything blindly. You absolutely need that balanced performance, which makes the F1 score the perfect tool for the job. So let's walk through a quick hands-on example. We'll use a spam filter. It's a simple 3-step process. First, we'll calculate its precision. Then we'll calculate its recall, and finally, we'll smush them together to get our F1 score. Okay, so let's say our filter correctly spotted 40 spam emails. Great. But it also mistakenly flagged 20 legitimate emails as spam. That gives it a precision of about 0.67. At the same time, there were 50 total spam emails out there, and our model found 40 of them. So its recall is 0.80. So now we have two different numbers. Which one do we trust? Well, that's the beautiful part. We don't have to choose. We just plug both of those numbers into our F1 formula, and out comes a single balanced score, 0.73. This one number gives us a much more complete view of how the model is really doing.
But what does 0.73 even mean? Is that good? Well, if we look at some typical benchmarks, our score falls right in the middle of the good range. That tells us our spam filter is performing pretty well, striking that nice, healthy balance between not making too many mistakes and not missing too much spam.
So after going through all of this, what's the core idea? What is the deeper truth we should really walk away with? Let's just sum it up. First, accuracy by itself can be a total trap, especially if your data isn't balanced. Second, the F1 score is the answer because it rewards that balance between precision and recall. And really, this all points to a bigger idea. Choosing the right way to measure success is often just as important as building the model in the first place.
I think this really says it all. You can think of accuracy as just scratching the surface. But the F1 score, that's the tool that lets you actually dive deep and find out what's really going on underneath.
And that kind of leaves us with one final thought. Whether you're building AI models or just trying to understand some data you saw online, it's always worth asking yourself, what hidden truths might my current metrics be missing? What's the real story the data is trying to tell me?